I don't know about all of you, but I feel kind of energized by seeing Harvan's film. Thank you for bringing us this beautiful film, Harvan. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for everything.
Just by way of context, just a little bit more. So we're partnering with, as Wayne said previously, we're partnering with the Bali International Film Festival. And so Sugar on the Weaver's Chair, Mpu, right? Mpu, was selected as their representative for the ASEP Prize for Cross-Cultural Filmmaking. And then we sort of started a process of trying to get Harvan here to the United States. It had a few wrinkles to it. More than a few, perhaps. But seeing him here on stage, having seen his film for the first time several months ago, it really closes the circle on what is really a beautiful event, the ability to have a cross-cultural exchange of filmmakers. And so we're thrilled really, Harvan, that you are here after quite a bit of work to get here. And I think your film is, as I said, it's lovely. And I'd like to ask just maybe in the context of why we did cross-cultural, this is an example of a film that has sort of the empowerment of women pushing back against very entrenched traditions of men in Indonesia. Can you talk a little bit about the inspiration for the film? Any personal insights about this? Something maybe you encountered that brought you to this film? What inspired you, and how did that translate into making the film?
Apakah ada pengalaman pribadi yang mendorong pembuatan film tentang empowerment terhadap perempuan?
Can I speak in bahasa?
Okay.
Sebenarnya memang kami melakukan riset dulu sebelum before we writing this film. We do the research, and we have to choose in many problems in many region in Indonesia. So we decided to choose lurik from Klaten, from Central Java. We choose the problem about weaver in East Nusa Tenggara, and it's about and Banyumas in Central Java is about palm sugar farmers. Yeah. Jadi kita memilih itu, we choose them to be in because I think very interesting about the conflict, about the struggle to live, and then it's very experience for me to writing about them, about the film, because before we making the film, I never know how to palm sugar and making, and
you didn't know anything about it?
I don't know anything, and they must climb to the palm. Only they only 30 seconds to go to climb, and it's very beautiful and very dangerous, and very dangerous. And many technicians German they help the climber to with safety, but they cannot use it because it's very to make them slow in working. For one day they can climb around 20 or 30 times from the morning until afternoon.
So one German guy, the technician, tried to climb. They cannot climb as fast as the climber in the Central Java. So all the climber they climb the palm sugar nearly 20 to 30 times in a day to collect the sugar water, and then they cook, become the brown sugar.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so is that a large business in Indonesia? We see this all over the islands.
Ini bisnis yang besar tidak Indonesia.
Saya pikir harusnya iya. Actually yes. But the system maybe. The system is not really belum
It's not
baik.
belum terindustrialisasi.
Yeah, belum terindustrialisasi.
So it is a big business, but since it is done by a single farmer and then it's not industrial yet, so it's a kind of scatter from one county, maybe county from one county.
I noticed that the stories are very rural for the most part, right? They're small villages and not big cities. So what sort of, in setting the film in small villages versus a big city, what inspired you to do that, to look to the rural areas, small communities?
Kenapa memilihnya itu di desa yang terpencil sekali, tidak di kota?
For sugar palm farmer, we just we do the techniques in film, because if too far from we need a crew, we need a crew, but that's menjadi pertimbangan consideration for making where we can make this story. Kita banyak banyak tempat lah, banyak lokasi yang kita bisa dapat, cuman mungkin Banyumas adalah yang paling lumayan besar di Jawa gitu. It's very big in Java, in Central Java, and near from Jogja maybe. So we can take the crew from Jogja. From Jogja.
So there are several places, a lot of places that can be done as a part of the location for making the film. And then Banyumas is one of the unique sites, and then very close. And then it has been chosen by the team. First is because of the duration, because of the distance. It's very close, and then all the crew can be brought all to the place. And then the reason why Banyumas ada alasan Banyumas.
Because we do the research, and we made Sutrina. Sutrina, this is the own true story. Because I so interesting about her life when she's the first woman to climb and change everything in their village.
In her village?
Yeah, in their village.
What's the first one?
They changed the pandangan
side,
the point of view from karena mereka patriarki, budayanya mungkin patriarki, when the husband and suami dan istri itu harus berjalan harmonis, must be harmonis.
So Harvan has done a lot of research in choosing why the palm sugar climber has been chosen as one of the topic for this film. And then he decided that the palm sugar climber is one of the best story to be taken into consideration for this film. And then this is based on two stories. Sutringa is a real woman who worked for her family, and then this is the first woman as the palm sugar climber in that area.
So she was a real pioneer. She
is a pioneer. So he sees that this is true story, and then very touchy, and then she is the first woman who become the palm sugar climber, and then also he tried to support the family. He tried to support the family as you see in the film, and then he lived up this story to build the role model as how to empower herself.
I find that very inspirational. You found it inspirational also.
Yeah.
What about the weavers? Is this the idea that weaving would be taught in schools as part of the curriculum? Is this actually a real thing, right? That's going on?
Apakah ini juga kisah nyata yang weaver itu?
All the story is true story. And very interesting for weaver in East Nusa Tenggara. I met Maria, not a real woman.
Not the real woman.
She's an actor. But I met Mama Yovita, we call Mama Yovita, in East Nusa Tenggara. She collect the widows in her village to back to tradition to empower the village. And I met the Mama Yovita. I talked with Mama Yovita around 6 hours in Jakarta when she is in Jakarta. I met it, and I have to do research about this river. And we're talking 6 hours. Oh my God! She's so I decided she has many problems to development the Boki art as a house of art Jadi saya bertemu dengan dia dan kita ngobrol. Saya sangat tertarik sekali, and very interesting about when she talking about she met a boy when the extracurricular for school. She asked the student, do you have any other extracurricular like river or there's nothing, and this is the truth. So she wants to put the river study in curriculum, but that's very difficult at that time, very difficult.
So Harvan met with Mama Yovita, the actress. What we call here is Maria, Ibu Maria. Ibu is Mom Maria. And then Harvan had long discussion for 6 hours to explore the idea why she wants to survive the weaving tradition in East Nusa Tenggara. And then once upon a time, she met with one guy, and then she asked, "Do you have any other activity?" And then he said that he doesn't have any activity. And then in relation to the school, and then what do you do in the school in terms of for building the skill? And then he said that he doesn't have any activity. And then she has idea, Maria or Mama Yovita, and then she proposed to put the weaving skill that she has, and then to be taught in the school, and then in the curriculum. And then it's not easy to introduce the curriculum in the school, as the curriculum is already standardized in based on the national curriculum. And then she tried really hard until her idea is accepted by the school.
I see. Also, so based in reality.
So this is based on the story also.
Very good. Wayne, you had a question?
It's not a question, I just wanted to comment, because the film shows two different weaving traditions, in a way, or cloth traditions, which Indonesia is really well known. And what struck me was, one is the father and the daughter, and they're making what's called the lurik cloth. And I lived in that area, it's in Central Java, and there's patronage behind that tradition, which is the courts, the royal courts of Central Java in Solo and Jogja, two cities. And so they can sell those fabrics that are the darker colors, because that's what the court wants. The court traditions are not as many colors. But when the tourist comes to the office, they want flashier colors, and at first the father's resistant. But those traditions have been really well preserved, I think, because of the patronage. Whereas in the other areas of Indonesia, way to the east, where you have amazing weaving traditions, there's ikat in the islands of Sumbawa, and then past that is the tradition that Harvan is showing here in the more Christian area of East Nusa Tenggara. They don't have the same patronage, so it's a little harder I think to keep up these traditions in that particular region. Even I know that's not the point of your film, but I know this from my own experience that it's really more important that it's done through school or after school to keep up this kind of tradition, because there isn't that kind of patronage system there.
Harvan, could I ask about your own inspiration to become a filmmaker? Talk to us about why you chose to become a filmmaker. What inspired you? Was it something in your education? Were you working as an editor on someone else's film or a camera person?
Inspirasi untuk menjadi filmmaker itu apa?
Yeah, I'm studying at Jakarta Institute of Art. I'm studying for film directing and writing. And I graduated in 2007. And then I work as a professional assistant director for many Indonesian film industry for maybe around 30 feature movie. 30 movie, yeah. I work as assistant director, but I don't have much time to making. I mean, when I work as assistant director, I try to do making short film. Yeah, I collect my my salary. We have to make it the short film. When I work as assistant director, my money menjadi film pendek setiap tahunnya gitu. Every year to make it short film, but very difficult. Huh? No, not mau. Saya mau bekerja sebagai assistant director dan saya mengumpulkan uang itu untuk film pendek. Ya, we have to pay sendiri lah, membayar biaya sendiri.
Yeah. So after working with 30 films with the director and producer, so then he tried to collect all the related crew and then to make the film, short film. After he has experiences for assisting 30 film with the producer, filmmakers, and then he decided that it is time to collect all together all the crew, and then he tried to develop and then create a short film. Yeah. So he has a lot of inspiration how to create a short movie, and then he said that it is now the time for me to make
feature
films. Yeah.
It's really interesting when I can make some film will be affect to someone, will be changed to someone. It's very challenging. I think in filmmaking it's very hard. It's very hard for work in filmmaking because not only idea, but after idea we must on the location. This is very menentukan.
It's very determined.
It's very determined for when in the idea we writing on the script and then we on location on camera. It's very in editing. So that's my challenge I want to be a filmmaker. But also I like jazz very much. Yes, I like jazz very much. I like Pat Metheny, I like Lyra Now, I like Josh Benson. I know everything about jazz. You can ask me about jazz.
So one amazing thing, he said that he wants to make film that really touch and then change someone. That's why this is the time for him to show that by seeing directly in the location, in the right place, in the right moment, and then in seeing directly to the real man, real woman, and then he wants to transfer it into film, and then how to edit also is part of the difficult one. So he wants all the things that he sees directly in real life to be seen also in real life in the movie.
In the film, yes, it's a great process.
Yes, it is a great process, and then he tried really hard how to make it happen.
Yes, the authenticity was very good in the film.
Yeah.
Why don't we go to the audience? Would that be okay? For a few questions? We have a roving mic that we can do. Who has a question? Please raise your hand. Anybody like to ask a question?
I'm just curious, what kind of camera did you shoot on?
Camera.
Yes.
We use SD, Canon, or A7S3, other than the small camera, because we know this. We only have that camera. So we need to know about how many days we shoot, how many crew we have. So we have to decide what cameras what the
The most proper.
the most proper for the situation. Yes. So I think because it's like a documentary style when we make film, and I think this small camera is enough for us.
How many days did you need to shoot this movie?
In every village, for one village, around four days.
4 days.
4 days. So we
Minggu dari hari atau minggu? 4 minggu?
no
4 hari.
4 days.
Only 4 days in
4
one
days.
place.
4 days for one village.
For one village.
Yeah.
4 days ago.
So we have 3 villages. We need 12 days for making this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
12 days you did the entire
Total
film.
12 days.
Yes.
Total durasi
All the
how many hours a day?
That's very efficient.
Yeah.
How many hours?
How many hours a day? Dari pagi sampai malam.
How many hours? I don't know.
Yeah.
Sekitar kebanyakan most
Most of the
we
time.
need the daylight because we don't have any lighting,
Lighting.
much lighting.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
we don't have,
Only in the daytime.
we don't have generator
Yeah.
for lighting for our lighting. Even I don't have monitor.
You don't have the monitor?
No, I don't have monitor because we don't have
Yeah.
a generator for
Yeah,
making
for
everything.
lighting the
Yeah, lighting for the equipment.
Yeah.
Strip down.
Strip down.
Yeah, strip down.
Sit down.
Economical.
Yeah, economical. So all total, the process need 4 days in one village, and then there are 3 villages, and then it's total 12 days
Yes.
to record all the scene
Yeah.
at the time. And
From
then
Java and-
because it's very difficult, he doesn't have any proper equipment to shoot during the night. So most of the scene are
In daylight.
conducted in daylight. So it's amazing.
Natural
Okay.
daylight?
Natural daylight.
So in Indonesia, the light is very abundant light. Yeah, so he used that time
We do it in 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. until 6 p.m.
from 7 a.m. in the morning until 6 p.m. In the afternoon.
Yeah.
4 long days.
4 long days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is remarkable.
Yeah.
Who else has a question out there? Yes.
Given those conditions, to get the kinds of performances that you've got is absolutely amazing. I don't know, I don't even know how it's possible. So
Yeah.
I commend you on the performances that you were able to get from your actors. But I have another question, which is the group of widows. They were all young, and why were they widows? Why are they losing their husbands en masse?
Yeah.
What conditions are such that
Apa tradisi ya,
results
tradisi.
in
Tradisi kenapa why they lose the husband?
Yeah.
Why are they widows?
Kenapa meninggal?
Ya, ya.
Janda itu.
Ya, memang saat kita sudah bertemu dengan Mama Yovita itu, the inspiration of Maria,
Ya.
mereka memang sudah janda semuanya, janda. Jadi memang sudah janda, jadi memang Mama Yovita ini,
Jadi jandanya itu kenapa gitu Pak?
Oh.
Karena apa tradisi atau karena?
enggak, kita nggak tahu, saya nggak tahu detail saya, nggak tahu menanya detail, cuman pada saat kita bertemu memang sudah janda semua gitu. Jadi memang grup ini memang mengumpulkan para janda-janda itu untuk kembali ke tradisi.
Iya.
Karena mereka hidupnya cukup sulit sebenarnya. Jadi mereka bingung mau ngapain. Akhirnya mereka bisa membawa kulit itu, ayo kembali ke budaya tahun ini gitu. Dan lumayan Mama Yovita bisa menjual itu ke foreigner, like tourists. Ya, seperti itu.
So when he met with Mama Yosefita or Maria, Maria has already a widow, and then he has friend also has already become the widow. So he doesn't explore why their widowness at that time. And then Maria asked all her friends to back to the tradition since they have already skill in weaving. And then they agree and then work together to weave together, to do the weaving, and then has the idea to introduce to the school. Okay.
Well, I think we're going to do. Did you have a question down here? Okay. Can we bring it down, the mic down here?
Just sorry, I got
Go
it.
ahead, she can
Go ahead.
yell it out.
Did Maria win the court case?
Oke, saat film ini dibuat, when we making the film, persidangan itu masih berjalan.
So during the film is made, so the court process, the dispute process is still on the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we haven't.
After we finish the film, persidangannya dimenangkan mereka kalah, dia lost.
Kalah.
Dia lost.
So finally, after the court happened, so Maria and friend is lost the case. Yeah. Yeah, lost in the court. Yeah.
Lost in the
Yeah,
court?
lost. Yeah.
They
She cannot win
rebuilt the house.
to claim
No.
the Biboki house to be part of the their place.
Lost, yeah.
Yeah.
They also didn't rebuild the house, Harvan said.
Yeah.
So they lost the court case, but they have not yet rebuilt their workshop house.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is important when Mama Yuvika or Maria talk about we don't need Biboki or house the art. But when pada saat rumahnya itu dirusak, diruntuhkan, yang paling berat adalah menumbuhkan semangatnya mereka lagi untuk kembali. Ya, terus semangat mereka itu hancur pada saat rumah itu dihancurkan.
Yeah. So it is very sad that Maria knows that once she lost the case in the court, and then the Biboki house was destroyed because it shouldn't be exist any longer. But her heart is destroyed also because of the situation. But he rebuilt his spirit with all her friends that we doesn't need any existing material things. That what most important thing, how the tradition of weaving should be generated from one generation to generation, and then let's try to have this kind of spirit by still weaving as part of their lives. Yeah.
I have a question here. I have the mic here.
Oh, one more.
Okay,
Here, I have the mic here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
Here. So I'm curious about women in film.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of women in film, doing film like the job that you do in Indonesia? And if your answer is no, maybe you could speak a little about the obstacles to women getting involved in film.
Thank you. Ada wanita banyak terlibat di dalam film ini ya.
Untuk krunya memang karena ini syutingnya kita cukup berat dengan waktu yang padat sekali dan cukup keras sekali gitu. Jadi kru kita memang yang kita punya kru wanita itu penulis skenario nya wanita dan produser kita wanita 2 orang.
So since this film needs to be finished at the right time based on the planned schedule for 4 days in each village and then 12 days in total, the crew, there are the two producer are women, and then one script writer are women. But most of the crew in the field are male technician. And then the idea for this making film also part of it is from the woman.
Yeah, from our producer.
Yeah,
also,
from the producer.
Our producer and our script writer.
Yeah. So there is the touch from the producer and also from the script writer for the spirit, maybe the spirit of this film also.
Thank you. 12 days, really good film.
Yeah.
Really good film. So before we adjourn for Indonesian food down in the alley, I want to thank Harvan Agustriansyah for coming here and showing, and giving us the opportunity to show your terrific film. Thank you so much. Poppy, Fire, thank you so much. And coming from the embassy in Washington, D.C., please give her a hand as well. And of course, to my dear friend Wayne Forrest, who brought this hall to us and helped us bring it together. And I will say, this is the Middlebury New Filmmakers Festival, right here. Before you leave, we remind you that at 2 o'clock we will be back for our American filmmaker, Angie Club, and her film, Nomad Beats the City. I urge you to come for that. And also, just one programming note, because the schedule seems to be bollocks in so many ways this year. For whatever reason, on Saturday night at Robinson Hall, the Eddie Indy did not print the fact that we'll be screening Summer of Soul. And of course, for many of you who know about this documentary, we urge you to go. We'll be posting signs tomorrow, but talk amongst your friends. If you're interested in seeing this brilliant documentary, Summer of Soul, about a series of concerts in Harlem in the summer of '69, not Woodstock, then please talk amongst your friends and let them know. We will screen at 7:15 tomorrow night at Robinson Hall. Thank you all. Let's have some food.